On a big stage, behind a set of purple curtains, a white unicorn donning dark blue hair with neon cyan stripes, vibrant purple shades, and two bridged eighth notes on her flank, stood behind a record table, sorting through stacks upon stacks of vinyl records. Tonight was going to be a big fashion show, starring some ponies' new designs or some shit like that. All of Ponyville had been clamoring for this fashion show for a few days now because some bigwig fashion executive from Canterlot was going to be there, hoity-toity or something like that. But this particular unicorn didn't give a rat's ass about some dumb fashion show. No, she was there to pop some skulls with her DJing skills. Her name was Vinyl Scratch, or DJ Pone3 as she was called on stage, the newest up-and-coming young DJ in Ponyville. As she shifted through the stacks of records piled in front of her, a white unicorn with a cutie mark of 3 cut gems and a luxurious blue mane was popping her head through the curtain, chatting about to herself feverishly. "There he is," she said, shifting her head to the right. Between her legs, Vinyl could make out a small white cat. Suddenly, the crowd outside started to mumble excitedly. "So I guess that fancy smashy fashion dude is here," Vinyl thought, slapping a record onto the table. She took a deep breath and adjusted her shades with her left hoof. She reached over and slid a switch on the wall down, and the lights dimmed. The other unicorn nearly jumped out of her hooves when the lights dimmed. "Oh, yes, that means the show's starting. Good," she mumbled nervously, retreating backstage to observe the show. Vinyl put on her biggest smile and used some magic to start up the record. A smooth, classical type of tune slithered through the speakers, spread about. The second the sweet melody reached her ears, her mane stood on end and a shiver went down her spine. Vinyl began to bob her head back and forth methodically, and she was in the zone. A spotlight clicked on, and the crackle of a microphone mixed with music. A smooth voice rang out over the stage. "Since the beginning of time, the elite of Equestria has longed for pony fashions that truly express the essence of their very souls, patiently waiting decades, no centuries, for the perfect pony gown. Today, at long last, Equestria, your wait is over. Let's hear it for the dressmaking designs of Ponyville's own Rarity." As the curtains parted, the spotlight swung to a group of ridiculously dressed ponies. A low, slightly excited wave of oohs, followed by a mixture of chatters and whispers, rose into the air. The 5 ponies, dressed in their eccentric garbs, trotted out onto the stage, trying their best to show off their fashion. After a few seconds, the chatters and whispers turned into groans of disgust and tiny yelps of yuck. It all stopped up for a second as a voice called out, "Oh, those amateurish designs look like a pile-on mishmash of everything but the kitchen sink." At that second, the crowd began to howl with laughter and jeers. "It's a travesty is what it is. Those outfits are the ugliest things I have ever seen. Oh, for shame! Who's responsible for rejecting our eyes to these horrors? Not to mention a waste of my valuable time." Vinyl stopped listening after this moment, after she had realized her sound had been cut out. She stared at the record spinning quietly, and her ears drooped. Her first big gig, and it was all going to hell. She sighed and stopped her record. Vinyl grabbed the record with her teeth and tossed it over her shoulder, walking off to the left of the stage, the dim buzz of conversation in her ears. As she exited the stage, the purple Pegasus with a briefcase, cutie mark, and a deep green mane trotted up beside her. "Are you the pony who is DJing this terror of a fashion show?" she said with a gesture towards the crowd behind her. Vinyl eyed her for a moment. Yeah, she said, pawing at the ground with her hoof. The pony reached out and grabbed the hoof, shaking it vigorously. "My name is Big Break, and I work for the Ponylicious Record Company." She smiled and let go of Vinyl's hoof. Cool, I'm Vinyl Scratch, but they call me DJ Pony on stage." Vinyl gave a sheepish smile. What did this business pony want with her? Pone3, you say? I like it. It's got a nice ring to it. Well, listen, kiddo, we've recently been interested in DJs just like yourself, Rick said, eyeing Vinyl from hoof to mane. You see, we're recently invested in the whole club scene. All the young fillies and colts are on about. But we need one thing. DJs. Vinyl's mind wandered for a minute. Then it hit her. Maybe, just maybe, this pony wanted her to work the club scene. Vinyl's heart gave a jump and a warm feeling shot up through her body, and she finally as she got really anxious to hear more. "So, due to your wonderful performance tonight, taking terrible fashions aside, I'd like to ask you, Final Scratch, to come on tour with our crew to play at all our new clubs all over Equestria." The pony finished with a huge smile. Vinyl could do nothing but stare out the gate, sweat pouring down her face. Touring Equestria? Working the clubs? This was her dream! "Yes!" Vinyl screeched in a high-pitched voice, jumping up and down. The glasses slid off her face to reveal bright pink eyes. Brake grabbed Vinyl's hoof again and shook it wildly. "We'll have an escort come pick you up in the morning. Now go pack your things. We've got a world to tour." Vinyl could do nothing but squirm with anxiety as Brake wandered off. She'd be touring around Equestria, living her dream. She let out a high-pitched squeal of joy as she trotted off to her apartment. Vinyl arrived at her apartment at around 11:30, still very excited about finding out that she'd be touring all over Equestria and with the Ponylicious Record Company. Oh, how famous she would get! The ponies she would meet, the places she would see. Oh, she just couldn't believe it. Once reaching her door, she practically knocked it down with excitement. Vinyl tossed her shades to the side and looked around at the pigsty that was her apartment. Piles upon piles of records and cardboard covers lay around the room. Several boxes of DJ equipment leaned against the wall, and her only dress hung neatly from the closet door. She sighed, feeling a bit sad that this could be the last time she saw this place. Once she hit it big and moved to somewhere more fancy in Manhattan, or perhaps Philadelphia. Maybe she'd just come back to Ponyville and live the quiet life. Vinyl shook herself with the thoughts. No time to dream now. She needed to pack. And Vinyl tossed aside record after record and case after case, looking for only her most prized possessions. A few dusty-old relics here, a few new-age hits there. It only took around 25 minutes to pack half of the cluttered room into a few bags. Though she already had 3 bags packed, there was still a small bit of mess left about. Among this mess was a framed picture of a young greenish-yellow filly, with a reddish-orange mane, light green eyes, and no cutie. This filly was posed, giggling next to a younger Vinyl, who was flashing a big, bright smile. She hadn't dyed her hair its present color yet, nor was she donning her signature shades. The bright pink eyes were alight with joy, and her purple hair was standing out vibrantly. She and the other filly were hugging each other against a peaceful park background. Vinyl stared at the picture for a good 10 minutes, her eyes lost in the green filly's photographic eyes. Ruby Rhubarb, her first love. Vinyl had discovered early that she was destined to be a filly for her. Every filly and colt she knew didn't mind. Ruby had moved away to Huffington about a month after this picture had been taken, and then to Appaloosa some time later. Vinyl took great care when placing the picture into one of her bags. She latched the flap on the bag and hoisted it over her back. She took another look around the room and shut off the light. In 6 hours she'd be on a bus touring all over Equestria. She was going to be something.